Stupid flies. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh. I got it. I got it. These flies are annoying. Yeah, but they do remind me of this week's lesson on Socrates. And Socrates was often referred to as a gadfly. A gadfly is a fly that bothers animals. And Socrates was known to bother people. Let's talk about him. He lived in Athens in 470 to 399 BC, where he was executed. Protagoras from last week's lesson taught in Athens at the same time. They had a conflict. He learned geometry, astronomy, sculpting, and stonemasonry. He was quite an accomplished artist. He carved a rendition of the Three Graces, and it stood at the entrance of the Acropolis. His father was wealthy, a sculptor. His wife, well, his second wife is always called a shrew, whatever that means. He took this second wife when the state urged its citizens to populate the city. He had 3 sons late in life. By the time he was 70, his oldest son was under 20. His youngest son was a baby. Socrates was a teacher who did not charge, and he could afford to do this because he lived off his father's inheritance, his father conveniently dying and leaving him, well, a house, 70 minas, and goodwill. Now that's 23 years' wages. So the length of time that Socrates lived, it was not enough to take care of himself, but he did accept gifts from friends. But he would not take money for teaching, because he thought that if he took money for teaching, that would influence the truth. He believed that he was on a mission from God. This mission was given by the oracle at Delphi. This mission was to make his fellow man aware of his own ignorance and to better their souls through knowledge. His method was the Socratic method. It's a series of guided questions that continually refine an idea. The questions are directed at people who are confident that they already know the answer. So Socrates would poke at them, claim that he was ignorant, and the questions that he posed to his pupil gradually revealed his ignorance. The questions eventually uncovered inconsistencies in their answer, and the questions eventually led to truth, if the student was open to it. If he was not open to it, sometimes it led to Socrates getting beaten up. The dialect only works when you have the knowledge within you. It works in discovering logical answers today, questions of ethics, but today it does not work in teaching matters of fact like biology. However, in Socrates' idea, everyone had all knowledge within them, so the Socratic method was foolproof. Socrates was an archetypical philosopher. He embodies the concept of a philosopher. He is a model of what a philosopher should be, and his teaching was a turning point in Western philosophy. Before Socrates, philosophers were concerned with the origin of the universe. After Socrates, philosophers were concerned with how man should live, with ethics and morality. So how did Socrates earn this reputation? Well, he was sincere to the point of actually following his own teachings. He refused payment to avoid compromising the truth, and he accepted an unfair execution rather than violate truth. He was a man of unshakable character. He did not use his reputation or position for personal gain, and he had extreme self-control in a world that gave itself to everlasting parties. Socrates was never known to be drunk, even though his wife was a shrew, and he was attracted to one of his disciples. He was never known to have committed adultery. Socrates angered many people. His teachings exposed their immorality. His teachings revealed the weak logic behind their philosophical conclusions. He was charged with using word games to trick people into thinking he was important, and eventually he was brought to trial in Athens. The charge was not believing in the gods the state believes in and introducing new divine powers, and the second charge, corrupting the young. There was some truth to this. His challenge to conventional morality and philosophy undermined the present authorities. His rejection of the human vices of the gods disagreed with official mythology. You're going to enjoy reading about Socrates, and you're going to enjoy doing the assignments. So here's for a good week in philosophy.